All right, everybody. In this case, we're going to go over the overload power play and the way in which we want to take advantage of weaknesses in the defense and think about how we want to move the puck around as much as possible. So to reiterate some key points here, as this sort of says on the bottom, this is a movement-based power play. You know, if you look at the umbrella or 1-3-1, it's a little more stationary and a little more position-based. Here, what we want to do is move the puck, get the defense to cheat and get the box to become deformed, which will then open up seam passes and then hit one-timers and quick hit passes. So quick hit shots off of passes and so on. So when we think about this offense and taking advantage of seams, this is pass and move, working on cycling, working on crashing the net. So these are the key principles that we want to talk about. So let's sort of walk through a couple of plays and how it can work to distort the defense and what's going on. So let's say these two guys are playing catch a little bit, moving the puck back and forth between each other. What can happen even with a simple play like that is the defenseman might start creeping in, become a little bit anxious. And then the play there is, let's say the puck's on this guy's stick, is he's going to make a pass down to this forward. So the puck moves down in that, moves down in that direction to this forward, and then this wing takes off and tries to hit the seam. And then the idea is that gets the return pass, and then boom, shot on net. Okay? So that's a classic play on the overload. Basically, what you do is you wait, you're a little bit patient, you move the puck, and when this guy kind of slides over, this guy aggressively moves into the open space. All right, so that's one good play that we want to look at. Another one that we want to exploit is moving the puck from this forward, send it back out to the D here. What we might expect is for these D to sort of cheat up in this direction, or potentially even for this D to slide up too far. And now what we're looking for is this this winger rather, to slide in this direction, looking for a return pass coming at him, again, exploiting the seams if the defense alters the shape of the box and opens up gaps. So we look to hit and move and hit those seams as wherever possible. Another nice play, just get the forward to the defense, get them to pinch in a little bit. Then we might be looking to hit this forward right back, and he slides up on the front door and move it in that direction. So what we want to do, the general approach here is everybody who's on offense is looking to see where the gaps are that are being created as the box is becoming distorted. So if these guys move up, that means the gap is going to be over here. If this guy slides over, it means the gap is going to be up in this area. Okay? One way we can force the defense to become get themselves out of position is to cycle the puck. So we have two different options on a cycle. One is for this forward here to carry the puck and start moving in this direction. Whereas as that's happening, this forward might be coming to look to cycle behind him in a classic trailer cycle. And then this forward carries the puck up, and then the pass is back down into the dead area behind the defenseman. Again, if this play works out nicely, what we might see, and I'll delete this trailing to get out of the way. This guy might get sucked into the cycle, and then now it opens up this forward to go sliding out, which, just to reiterate the point, we can hit him there, and then we'll take our shot. Okay? So our roles in this particular offense is to move and as much as possible around the wing and around the perimeter, And that might make you think that this forward isn't really involved. Absolutely not. Absolutely critical position. First of all, they need to be fairly confident and sturdy on their feet to stand in there and expect that this guy to sort of bother him, maybe beat on him a little bit, and take a little bit of a beating. That's absolutely critical because it forces this person to become occupied with this forward, because if they slide off, now you've got an absolute critical person in front of the net who can take a wide open shot. So that's going to force this defenseman to pay attention. So then when the box gets distorted, the seams start opening up around the rest of the ice. So this weak side forward has two roles. One, they're there to occupy that, well, they have three roles. They're there to occupy that defender and anchor them there. They're there to crash in rebounds and look for greasy goals. And then if this defense kind of overloads on this side and shuts down whatever's happening over here, what we can do is send the puck around to the weak side this way, and then this forward is going to go get it. We're going to reset, and we're going to move over, and now we're going to overload on the other side. That's going to force the D to slide over in this direction, and then we can either promptly reset or move the puck back around the powerful side and that we started on and work that way. What we want, wherever possible, is for this forward here to be a left-handed shot, and for this forward to be a right-handed shot. This guy can kind of be either. And the reason for that is if this forward is sliding in and it's going to get, let's say he's crept over, this forward is going to slide in. We're going to look for a one-timer that's going to come on net. It would be best if that person was a left-handed shot. Likewise, this forward passing in a give and go to this forward over here. Pass comes in here, back out to this guy. We want a right-handed shot on that side. So let's reset back to sort of where we were at the beginning to reiterate a couple of other ways in which we can activate on our cycling and get the defense to move and get them to get ourselves sort of off base. So here's our overload like this. So we already talked about the trailing cycle. We can also do what can be thought of as a little bit of a scissor cycle, where we start the puck down. Let's say we start the puck down with this guy. Now he's going to carry the puck up towards this forward like that, and then this forward is going to slide back behind him like this. So that's a classic scissor cycle, and that's either going to get the D to activate and bite, or they're going to stay steady, in which case you can either cycle back to this guy and try to get the puck to that guy and reset, or potentially you can just have this forward continue on up, moving this direction, and then he's going to activate a scissor cycle with this D pair, right? So in all cases, what we're looking for is the person who is ahead of the play to look to activate and move and cycle the puck. So if this forward is moving in this direction, this forward is looking to either scissor or cycle behind him like this. Okay, so we're constant moving. Now, if this forward is with the puck here and is starting to move up in this direction, this D is looking to activate and slide down the boards. We do want our scissor passes and our cycle passes to go on the outside. So the routes that we're going to take, the forward is going to stay on the inside, the D is going to stay on the outside, like that in all cases. Same thing if we're going to exchange in the other direction, where we've got this guy with a puck moving in this direction. We want our winger to be cycling down low on the board side. So we're always protecting to keep the exchange pass away from the defenders. Okay. Other really nice little plays, of course, exist all over the ice. Basically, you can just think of the opportunities for seams. So if we just look at what's happening here, we've got, whoops, let's not do that. We've got seam passes that are potentially open, forming our basic triangles as they are all over the ice like this, right? So there are basic seams. And so depending on where the puck is and where the defensemen are, we're going to look to exploit those seams with quick hitting passes and quick hitting shots. All right, so to reiterate, a lot of movement, a lot of cycling, a lot of activation, and it's a little bit patient. We don't want to just take the first shot that we can, but we want to hit high quality shots by aggressively doing little give and go moves and sliding into the open lanes that are created when the defense gets distorted and pulled into the overload. Let's just talk a little bit about how to defend the overload here. So now we're switching it around. We're on defense. The simplest answer to defending an overload is to not bite. To be really blunt, if these guys want to exchange the puck all day long, like who cares? Nobody's going to skip. Nobody's going to score from out there, right? What you have to guard against is the exchange in which one player goes and then slides in. So if you stay home with good active stick, and I'll just put a stick in there to reiterate, everybody's got to have an active stick. Everybody's got to be clogging the lanes. It reduces the risk of the overload greatly. So we will play box whenever we're defending against the overload. The other thing that is perfectly okay is to overload the D and slide in and favor it. So you have 3 clogging up in this side of the ice. If we see that the other team is definitely playing an overload and they're cycling and trying to activate their D, the weak side point slides over. The absolute key is that they not slide too far. Because if they slide too far, what happens is this seam pass opens up. This D can slide over there, and now you're in trouble because you've overloaded. But if the D does a good job clogging up the lanes in this particular side, what the offense should do to respond to that is move the puck over to the other side here with a rapid pass and reset on the other, and make the defense reset and make the defense sort of quickly scramble to recover and reform their box. Okay, so that's the basic gist of the overload. In the end, what we want is for our as many players as possible to be essentially on this side of the center ice. That's the last point I just want to make. Is it's called overload because we're overloading half the ice, right? So if you are the weak side wing and you find yourself drifting over there because it's open space, you're doing it wrong. We want to overload and have sure-handed puck handlers who can all kind of concentrate on this one half of the ice, whichever side that it's on. Okay, that's it for the overload.